Our guest is Hall of Famer Jeremy Roenick, and this segment sponsored by John Elway Cadillac of Park Meadows. Jeremy, we all watched that game one, Tampa Bay and Chicago the other night, and to use a football term, Tampa went into a prevent defense at the end of that game, and I think it cost them. Would you agree with that?
That's so well said, and that's exactly right. When you go into a prevent defense, you always say it when you're watching a football game, a prevent defense prevents you from winning. And so when we have the term in hockey, you have to play to win the game. You can't play not to lose, and there is a difference. So Tampa had to go after that next goal. That next goal, the way that the game was going, the way Tampa was going, was the killer. It was the knockout punch, and they went 10 minutes, almost 11 minutes in that third period without a shot on goal. And then when Callahan missed that breakaway, you just felt that something was going to happen. I said it to my producer. I said, game over. And he's like, what do you mean? It's 1-0. I'm like, you can't let the Blackhawks, a team with that much experience, that much talent, stick around and stick around and stick around, because something's going to happen. And, they went into that play not to win. They sat back, and it bit them. And that was a huge loss and a steal for the Blackhawks in game one.
Yeah, I'm with you 100%. The Hawks are so good. There's so much star power there. And Joe Quenneville has even his role players coming up big in big spots. We've seen it in 3 out of the last 6 Stanley Cup Finals. And then they hit shots from such weird angles. You really can't take a chance with this Blackhawks team, can you?
No, you really can't. They're so deep. All 4 lines can score, because you saw the third line won the hockey game for them the other day. I mean, to have Teravainen and Vermette score the only goals. Both of those players have been healthy scratches at some point during the playoffs, this playoff season. And when you talk about Joel Quenneville being able to push buttons, that's what he does. He motivates people in certain ways and gives people just enough to where they chomp at the bit and they want to get back in there. And Teravainen is that. He played a great game, and Vermette hasn't been the player that they expected coming over in the trade. And they put him in, they sit him out, and they just dangle the carrot enough to make him eager enough and still excited enough to get into the game. And look what happens. They're a huge part of what's going on right now in the Stanley Cup Finals.
I don't think, and I'm not the expert you are, but I don't think Tampa Bay is going away, though. This is a young, confident, fast-skating, good team with a 6'7" goaltender, rim protector, if you will. I think that game may have actually it may do more for them in the long run of this series, and I think it's going to be a long-running series because they're not going to just lay back, be back on their heels the rest of the series. Is that a fair assessment, Jeremy?
I think it is a fair assessment. They are not going away. You saw what happened against Detroit. They battled to get back against Detroit in rare fashion, in the first round. And I think they're young enough and naive enough and eager enough to let this one go, but not forget about it. And it's a different mentality when you're young and you get angry and you have as much talent as Tampa Bay has. They're going to come back, and I would give them the upper hand on tomorrow's game, because I can tell you with 2 days in between games, usually it's just one day, but with 2 days for them to stew on that loss, they're going to come out. They're going to come out just gangbusters on Saturday with the anticipation of tying this thing up, I believe.
Hey, Jeremy, is Duncan Keith of the Chicago Blackhawks, is he human? I mean, it seems like he's on the ice half of every game.
It's a good question, because he has taken a huge step up in his game. I mean, he's been one of the best defensemen in the league for some time now. But I think he's raised his level again and showed people how good he can really be. To play 30 minutes a game in the regulation game at the level that he's playing is just miraculous to me. And he doesn't seem to be getting tired, which is even more spectacular.
Jeremy, really appreciate your time and want to say thank you. 17 years late, because when I was covering the Nagano Olympics, my job was to deal with Team USA, and I always knew that if I went to either you or Brett Hull, I was always going to get something juicy. So thank you.
Yeah, as long as you didn't go to Brent after the Olympics was over while he was tearing up all the rooms.
Oh, well.
I think media brought that on and made it bigger than it was. But I'll always be honest and always tell you what I think, and I appreciate the sentiment.
Thank you, Jeremy. Thanks for your time, and we'll be watching on NBC.
Thanks for all the years of play that we got to watch from you.
I appreciate it. Oh, it was great being on with you guys. I really appreciate it.
All right, thanks, Jeremy. That's Hall of Famer Jeremy Roenick, and that segment was sponsored by John Elway Cadillac of Park Meadows, Colorado's #1 Cadillac dealer.
When you go to buy a car, what do you really want? You probably want a lot of cars to choose from. And you want the dealership's best price. Not some starting price or target price, the best price. And you want it immediately, not after hours of negotiating. And you want a salesperson who doesn't get paid more if you spend more. Because, well, you don't want to spend more. Well, you're in luck. John Elway wants all of those things too. Better yet, John Elway wants you to have all of those things too. Come see us or click on elwaydealers.com.